So this has to be the most corrupt use of money I've ever seen. It's happening from all the major municipalities here, and while people like you and me are struggling to pay our bills, while everything is about $700 a month more for the average family than it was just a few years ago, and while the federal government gave a ton of money and all these cities were broke a few years ago, they're looking to misappropriate these funds on the what some people would say are the worst type of individuals to do it, the wealthiest people in the entire country, CEOs of major corporations. This is a wild one. We're going to go in this video and explain how much money does the city, the county, the state, everybody want to spend on trying to wow CEOs. Where does the money come from? And here's a hint. It comes from you. Yeah, you. Even if you're not in Vegas, it's coming from you. And how all of these people are failing to see the real reason why these companies won't do business in Vegas. It's actually a travesty because we have so many things that are lacking in this valley right now. But my name is Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. Let's get on with it. All right, so in just a minute, I'm going to tell you how to spend nearly $1.25 million in just 3 hours. But before we get to that, we have to talk about the fact that something called the Governor's Corporate Combine Committee was formed when the Super Bowl was given the go-ahead to be in Vegas. Now, this Governor's Corporate Combine Committee was a committee, from what I can understand it, meant to try to woo business into the state of Nevada. This is actually something that happens all the time. I'm from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. When I was younger, they had the Olympics in 1988. They said that they might lose money on the Olympics, although the Calgary Olympics did earn a profit, which is it's an aberration for Olympic Games. But whereas most big global events lose you money, you make some money on the back end on businesses coming. So that was a general idea here. Unfortunately, the governor and the state are no longer really active in this. And the amount of money they want to spend right now is over the top. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So what they're trying to do is quite simple. They're trying to target the CEOs, NFL sponsors, and supply line companies to try to convince them that it's such a great place to do business that you should set up shop here. And they're willing to do it by spending obscene amounts of money on just a 3-day weekend. And again, a lot of that money comes directly from you, which we'll explain in a second. So at least 8 CEOs from major companies are coming out, and they're going to be spending $1.24 million on a suite game day at Allegiant. Like I said, how do you spend $1.25 million in just 3 hours? You rent a suite at Allegiant during Super Bowl, apparently. A welcome mixer for $170,000 on the Friday before the game, and a tour of the community for $170,000. That is one heck of a tour. I know if you gave me even $50,000, I could rent the big bus tour and tour you around and probably get you all in a Maverick helicopter tour and show you a great time. But I don't know where they're getting these numbers from, but that's what they're looking for. And when we get to the reason why, the real reason why, the honest reason why this state can't attract these big companies coming in, it'll be completely clear. That'll be in a minute. But we have people like gaming executive, that's always a red flag, and former Mayor Jan Jones, who's all for the idea. She said a ridiculous thing, and this is what she said. She said, "We've done a great job at selling the destination." You sure have. People come to Vegas because it's a great destination. But when it comes to economic development and convincing companies to move here, we've got a pretty dismal record, particularly when you're losing these big businesses to Texas and Florida. There's a reason you're losing them. You don't get it. None of you guys get it. But it has to do with how you spend money. And speaking of spending money, I just want to drop a hint about our sponsor here. It's called Starfish Perks. Now, Starfish Perks is something that me and my wife have been using for years. I think you're really going to love it. If inflation is beating you down right now, I want you to check out the website consumerrebellionnow.com. See, Starfish is a platform. It's a platform that connects over 500 major retailers with you and gets you cash back perks whenever you shop and buy the stuff you're already buying. They just added 76, the big gas station chain, and many, many more coming on board. Places like Walmart, Costco, Target, Amazon.com, and many, many more. Check out consumerrebellionnow.com. Drop your information. I'll reach out to you personally, and I'll share with you how the idea works. That's the sponsor for the video to save you some money, because the money they're going to spend on this is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, they want to spend $400,000 in pandemic recovery funds for the effort. That's Clark County. Now, where does the pandemic recovery fund come from? Well, that's where you come into play, the person watching this video. Yeah, the Pandemic Recovery Fund is a fund that was created when the United States federal government gave every state money to help them rebuild their major primary businesses or the things that were impacted the most after shutdown. And apparently, we haven't spent all of it. Why would we have to spend all of it? It wouldn't make sense, right? Because as soon as COVID reopening happened, the state started printing money again with those casinos. So they haven't spent the money, and they think that this is a good use for that money. Vegas, city of Las Vegas, reaching in with $290,000 from the general fund. That's the fund that the city has, where it was basically their big wallet. That's the fund that pays for everything. And this one's funny. North Las Vegas chipping in $120,000. Now, if you're from here, you probably heard of North Las Vegas and the bankruptcy that nearly went through back in 2014. It was a big news. It was all over the major mainstream news. And yeah, they were nearly bankrupt, the city of North Las Vegas, back in 2014. Yet here they are willing to pitch in $120,000 because maybe someday these big businesses will come and do business here. Now, the real reason that people don't do business here, big companies don't come here, is very simple. It's as simple as the fact that you should subscribe, because I put a lot of time and effort into these videos to bring you the straight news here in town. I'm going to continue to do it, so subscribe now. No, the real reason is, it's sad actually. Did you know that Nevada is the second worst state in the entire nation for education? The second worst. Yeah, we have the worst schools. We're one of the worst. We have some of the biggest class sizes. The last few weeks, the teachers have been talking about going on strike. I have a friend, Brandon Summers. He's over on Twitter, always talking about it. He's standing in front of the county, shouting as loud as he can about how the teachers are mistreated. And this is how they decide to spend the money. Yeah, the real reason why companies don't want to move to Nevada is because we don't have an educated workforce. Now, later on, I'm going to make a video about one of these conspiracy theories where so subscribe for that if you want to. But no, if you don't have an educated workforce and you have the opportunity to move your company and you need to bring 50,000 people in from another place, or you're opening up a new facility and you have options. You can open up something in Texas, which has schools like Texas A&M, or you can move something into Florida, which has good technical schools with lots of engineers and graduates coming out. Yeah, you're going to move to those areas where the labor pool is ripe with people who you don't have to relocate and pay money for. And that's not what happens here. So we have an excellent hospitality and management school at UNLV. I've heard also the medical school is very good, and the law school is bar none excellent. But we don't have the kind of educated people in the valley that these big companies are looking for. And it starts in elementary school and it moves up from there. If you are a parent and you look for a chartered school or a private school, the average cost of private school is not as much as you think. It's about $8,000 a year for your child. I know it's a big burden, but if you can at all do it or homeschool, then that's your best option out here in Nevada. But until we fix that problem, they can throw as much money as they want at these giant companies. They can get a lot of cool selfies with people like maybe Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg or whomever else is a big CEO, and they can post those up on their social media and say that Nevada is open for business. But without the people to work on those businesses, the chances of you bringing those businesses here, scoring a deal, are still going to remain slim to nil. And if you're just watching this video and you've noticed the Siamese cat here the entire time, give me a comment about a Siamese cat in the comments below. My name is Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. You're the best part of my day. Thank you guys so much for being with me here. I love you, sweet Caroline. I can't wait to see you when you get back later this year. Until the next time, we look in the camera and we say 3, 2, 1, click. Are you ready for that? 3, 2, 1, and click.